So the king of chips is the triple cooked chip. Suitable for fine dining, Michelin star. It's just a beautiful chip. So I'm going to show you the best way to make it today. So any starchy potato, but nice large ones if you can. It's good because I like to think that a triple cooked chip should be a nice big chunky chip. It's not like a thin French fry or something like that. Then we're just going to peel them. So I'm going for quite a chunky chip with these. These are about 3/4 of an inch. So a nice big fat chip. And if I was going to be doing something for fine dining, I would also actually square off the ends. I'd also make them equal size and length, so try and get them as perfect as possible. Because with the fine dining, it's it's your Michelin star. You want something really perfect. But for today, we can keep them a little bit random. Try and keep the size the same because then they're all going to cook at the same time. So you are getting quite a bit of sort of waste off these. So that's the waste I've got from these chips. But it's not actually waste because that is perfect for doing a mashed potato. I'll do mashed potato for my meal tomorrow. Or you could even cut it into French fries. It's, it's fine. So don't ever waste something like this because, it's not hard. It's about, I don't know, 1/3 of the potato in there. So we need to use it. So what I've done is I've put them all into water, and you can see all the starch coming out because you want to use a starchy potato. So the starch is sort of coming off the surface of the potatoes. And what I'll do now is I'll rinse them through. I'll drain that water, refill it, and then drain it and refill it again. So we're trying to get rid of the starch because it's going to help get a nice crispy potato. So there you can see that the water's nice and clear now, so all the starch has gone off the surface. So next step, or the first step into cooking them, I've got a pan of boiling water, teaspoon of salt, and then we're just going to boil them for, once you put them in, it'll stop boiling, so wait for it to come back to the boil, and these are going to need 10-12 minutes. It's just when you'll see that they'll just start to sort of break up on the surface. I don't want them to go too far because I don't want the chips to break up totally, but I want that nice sort of soft surface, which is going to help us get these nice crispy bits on the chips. Right, so they're done, and what I've been doing as they've been cooking, I've just been moving them around a little bit. And if you're using like a metal spoon like this one, you just got to be careful not to sort of cut into them. But you see they start to sort of get little notches, just moving them about, they'll start to get little notches in them, and also you'll sort of round the corners a little bit. So it just adds a little bit of roughness to the surface of the potato, which is good for crispy chips. So we'll turn that off, and all I'm doing now, so I've got the odd broken one, which you're going to probably because you're sort of taking it to the limit with boiling them. Just put them onto a tray, and then we're going to let them just cool. You could do this the night before and just put them in the fridge. I would just cover them with some cling film. Or you could even put them in the freezer. Do them a week later. So let them cool, and then on to the next step. Right, so they've cooled, but what you're actually trying to do is dry the surface of the chip. So you'll feel the the surface, and it will start to feel dry, which is why it's good to put it in the fridge in a way, because it's like a drier air, so it will dry them quicker. But it's important. You will get some with little white bits on, which shows it that it is really dry. But as long as they feel dry, that's good. So now I've heated the oil to 140 degrees C. Just check it with a thermometer. This hob has a temperature on it, control on it, and it is pretty accurate, so we're fine. I know it is fine. And then we're going to fry them for around about 10-15 minutes. Try not to splash the oil everywhere like me. So they're fairly fragile at the minute, so you've got to be quite careful with them not to break them. They will be a little bit tougher after this first fry. Just fit them all in. So I'm not going to move them about too much because they are fragile at the minute. I'll leave them probably halfway through, so sort of 7-8 minutes. Then I'll move them about, and I can move them about a little bit just to get an even cook. And what you're looking for is just, I don't want a lot of colour on them at this stage. So it's just when they just start to colour, that's when you know they're ready, and we're going to take them out. Right, so they've had just under 15 minutes. So now what I'm going to do is just put them onto a cooling rack, which is just going to help the oil, the excess oil, sort of drain off, and it will allow them to cool a little bit better and dry out. Dry out, it's the dryness again, because this, now we're going to leave them to cool and dry out again. So you can put them in the fridge or the freezer even, but don't leave them too long in the freezer. We don't want frozen McCain's chips or something. I've had a few little more breakages in there, but that's fine. They still taste as good. So they're pretty dry now. There's still a tiny little bit of oil you can see on them, but you know, they're as dry as you're going to get. So what I've done is I've upped the oil temperature to 180 degrees C. So quite a bit hotter this time. I'm actually using a mix of vegetable oil and duck fat, because I had loads of duck fat in the fridge. I wanted to use it, but you can just use vegetable oil or canola oil. That's absolutely fine. So now we just need to just be a little bit more careful. You've got a lot hotter oil, so just a lot more careful putting these in. And they're only going to take 5 minutes in that. You just want to get them to the colour that you're sort of happy with, really. But this time I can keep them moving around, because I don't want them sitting on the bottom for too long. That's them about done. Got a nice colour, and they're looking nice and crispy. Give them another 30 seconds, I think. So that has literally taken 5 minutes, so you know you have to keep an eye on these. You don't want to leave them too long. We don't want black chips. I always remember going to my granddad's when I was little, and I used to love his chips, but they were nearly black. They were always really burnt, but I used to love his chips. I'm sure they were like crinkle cut chips. I mean, I would have been about 5, so a couple of years ago. My granddad's in Liverpool. Right. So we'll just drain them, put them in a bowl with a bit of kitchen towel, and we'll just drain any excess oil off them. They're good chips. Perfect. Right, what we can do is just get a little bit of finishing salt, sprinkle that on, and we'll just give them a little bit of a toss. It will just a little bit more salt, just to get the salt on them, and it'll help them just to drain a little bit as well. So we'll give them a couple of minutes just because they're going to be red hot, and then we can serve them. Triple cooked chips, serve with tomato ketchup, or for the non-purists, a bit of sriracha mayonnaise. Sriracha mayonnaise, what? Yeah, it's nice. It's good. So we've got a nice crispy chip. Still nice and fluffy on the inside. And they, I don't know why, but they just taste so much better. But hey. They're good, but the chips are always good. So give them a go. I think that method, I've tried it a few different ways, different temperatures, but that one just seems to, the results are best from that anyway. So try that. So if you like this video, give us a like. And if you really like it, subscribe and watch them all. But keep tuned in for more Just Good Food.